This is the Wakefield blues rock band Justified. And I'm Pete Taylor, the bass player. I'm sitting here isolating in Alderthorpe, but I've got the other members of the group on Skype, and I'm going to ask them to introduce themselves. Okay, Rod?
Yep, hi. My name is Rod. A lot of you know me from around and about, and I'm actually self-isolating in Ackworth.
Okay, so, and we've also got a drummer, thank goodness. Yeah, called Martin.
Martin Tagg, the percussionist section in Justified.
Oh.
Yes. And like everybody else nowadays, self-isolating.
So many roads, so many trees to ride. So many roads, so many trees to ride. I'm gonna find my baby before I'm satisfied. I'm standing by the window, I heard that whistle blow. Standing by the window, I heard that whistle blow. Well, I thought it was a streamline, was a piano. The men on fire, the cruel old engineer. The men on fire, the cruel old engineer. So am I, baby. Left me standing here.
That was our version of So Many Roads, recorded live at the old Printworks in Wakefield. And now, Martin. Martin, could you tell us a bit about your musical history? How did it all begin?
I started playing in the 1960s, early part of the 1960s. Kind of started with this kind of thing on a Friday night when Ready Steady Go used to be on at 10:30 on a Friday night. Rushing home from Sandal Youth Club, picking up a pair of my mother's knitting needles and bashing on Jack. And eventually, you know, I really got interested in it and bought some drums and obviously drumsticks and kind of started to get it together. But I never actually played a kit for months and months after I'd started playing. My first actual playing gig was New Year's Eve 1964. Again, Sandal Youth Club. And Bill Nelson, who lots of you will be familiar with, had a band. And for some reason, they had a fill-in drummer that night. And they didn't like what he was doing. So some guys came and asked me, after they played the first half, would I play the second half on his kit? And amazingly, this guy let me play his kit. And after that, I was definitely hooked. So after that, I was rehearsing and playing in various bands. But by the time I was about 14, I was playing 3 nights a week in a band from Bradford called The Spell. And later on, one of the things I did, which some of your old ones will recall, the first rock concert in the park, in Clarence Park in Wakefield. And that was organised by Bill. And me, him, and another guy called Malt Bryan put a trio together playing Cream type material. And we did that. So I played at the first rock concert in Clarence Park.
Genuine rock royalty, eh, Martin? I think we should now play another song from our live set. How about Back in a Cadillac? Okay, this is Pete, and I guess it's time to give you some of my backstory, which is remarkably similar to Martin's in many ways. I started playing T-chest bass in a skiffle group when I was about 13, 14 probably. And from there I went on to play homemade double bass in a rock and roll group, sort of Buddy Holly, Gene Vincent sort of material. And on then to more and more rock and roll, really. Along the way, I picked up 6-string guitar and also managed to get a bass guitar, which was quite a novel instrument in those days. In the 60s, I guess, in the early 60s, I moved from Birmingham up to Wakefield to be at Bretton Hall, training as a teacher, and played in a number of groups, played in a jazz group at Bretton while I was there, carried on playing after I left in various groups, including the famous or infamous Kalahari Bushmen with Frank Hepworth. In the late 60s, early 70s, I was playing around Wakefield, but I was also listening to quite a bit of music. And one of the people I was listening to was Red Price, a nationally known saxophonist who played a jazz gig in a pub in Wakefield. I think it was called the Keller Bar. It was downstairs anyway. And when I was at the Keller Bar listening to Red Price, I'd often meet up with a young artist called Peter Griffin. When we'd chat about music, one evening he said, "Have you heard Rory Gallagher?" And I'd never heard of Rory Gallagher. And he said, "I'll lend you a record." So he lent me, of course, a vinyl of Rory Gallagher. And it was really pretty darn good. And so the next song we're going to play is a Rory Gallagher song. And I really enjoy playing this song because it reminds me of those times listening to Red Price and chatting with Pete. And it's got more than a little tinge of jazz in it. This is Calling Card.
Where it lands will find you hot, no matter where you stand. It's gonna rain, brother, it's gonna rain hard. When the blues comes a-calling with his calling card. Well, it ain't so funny when you'd rather die. There ain't no pleasure when the girl don't reply. She wrote sick letters, you brought down in tears, and feeling so bad for a million years. Watch out, brother, don't get hurt. Watch out, baby, don't show that hurt, show that hurt. Show that hurt. Sick letters wrote down in tears. We're feeling so bad for a million years. No, watch out, brother, don't get hurt. Watch out, brother, don't show that hurt. sing about where it lands. The country, brother, no matter where you stand, it's gonna rain, brother, it's gonna rain hard. But the blues comes calling with its calling card.
Hi, I'm Rod from the northeast of England originally, settled in West Yorkshire in Wakefield roughly about 1990. And then literally just did the clubs with my then wife to pay the bills, basically. Hated it, but it did the job. We did all over West Yorkshire, Barnsley, Worksop, all the usual suspects, I'm sure. Martin will know some of the clubs anyway. But after that, I decided to, when my ex-wife decided to go back home, and I didn't want to, I decided to create a blues band with a friend of mine called Dave Elcourt, and it was called Dr. Blue. And we used to do our gigs, inaugural gigs at the O'Donoghue's Public House in Wakefield, which sadly doesn't exist anymore as an Irish bar, which is when it was its best. It's now a folky bar, I think, as far as I can remember. And then we just evolved into a rock band, and then I did a bit of ZZ Top tribute band, which we did really well with. We did Clarence Park, actually, with ZZ Top tribute called Eliminator. And we ended up in Portugal in a bull ring playing in front of 500 or 600 people. So that was good. And then I got a hankering to really sort of get back to the basics, to what I love best, which is the blues. Americana and blues, Mark Knopfler, not so much Clapton. I think he's overrated, to be honest with you, but don't tell him whatever you do. But there are a lot of great blues guitar players out there. Joe Bonamassa for one. So I got in touch with two guys. Martin had a chance phone call. I just happened to sprout the question, hey, do you fancy playing drums if I can find a bass player? And the answer was yes, and then we found you, Peter Taylor.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you were in the
Under a stone.
ex-directory in the Yellow Pages. So no, and here we are. And what I'd like to do is to introduce one of the songs that we do, which is a Peter Green number. Again, going back to the blues, but with a little bit of a twist at it from us. And it's called Stop Messing.
Baby, please stop all messing around town. Baby, please stop all messing around on town. You don't stop messing, baby. Gonna be no one's your friend of mine. Baby, please stop all messing around with my heart. Please stop all messing around with my heart.
as Justified's take on Peter Green's Messing Around. So, what we're doing in lockdown, what are you doing, Martin? You doing anything exciting?
No, decorating, doing a little bit of practicing. It's difficult for drummers because there's no one to work with. It's really hard.
Yeah.
Just trying to stay healthy. That's it.
Yeah, I think we're all probably trying to do that. How about you, Rod?
Well, I'm picking up the guitar at every opportunity. I'm actually working with pre-recorded backing tracks just to keep my chops up, because obviously what we don't want is for the fingers to heal up and your muscles to get lazy.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of guitar playing and probably drumming as well is muscle memory. You know what you're doing when your fingers know where they're going.
Yeah.
And that's something that you've really got to keep sharp.
Yeah.
Apart from that, it's literally walking the dog for an hour a day. My allotted...
There might be a song in that.
Nick Stanton, who we're going to talk about later, suggested we rename the band Lockdown.
I've been doing some bass practice, not a lot, but I've actually been playing along to Justified on the 6-string guitar to keep my interest up in a way, I suppose, and it gives me another angle on bass playing. But also,
hang on, how do you negotiate 6 strings when you can't really manage unknown 4?
well, guitar playing is really overrated, you know, Martin.
I want to know how he's going to play bass and rhythm guitar at the same time when we start gigging again.
Yeah, you'd be surprised. No, it's not just that, though. With really good luck, good fortune, I bought a new keyboard just before the lockdown. And I've been playing that along to Justified songs as well. It's a good way of learning songs you know.
Yeah. Oh, right, there you go. Yes.
And that's even harder, Rod, because I've got 10 fingers, well, 8 fingers and 2 thumbs that I'm supposed to be putting on these blinking keys and try and put them on the right ones. It's not that easy. It's easy with 6 strings.
Rod, couldn't we clone him twice?
Yeah.
Higher on the bass player.
Yeah, you haven't heard my keyboard playing, have you, Martin?
Anyway,
This is a slow one for a change. It's a number called Magnolia. We always say this one's dedicated to all the decorators. It's written by J.J. Cale.
It's by a song called J.J. Cale wrote this one. Windbirds, we're gonna sing it. Like a south summer breeze. I think about my baby. I left down in New Orleans. Left down in New Orleans. Magnolia, are you sweet thing? You're driving me mad. I've gotta get back to you, girl. You're the best I ever had. You're the best I've ever had. You spurred good morning. Why so gentle in my head? I'm coming on back to you, girl. Soon I'll be there. Why you whisper good morning? Why so gently in my ear? When I'm coming on, direction you go. Soon I'll be there. Soon I'll be there. Soon I'll be there.
So, Rob, how do you see the future with all this coronavirus and the way it's affecting us?
I don't know if I've got a crystal ball in front of me, but I'm sure that whatever happens in the future, listening to the news, especially today with Nicola Sturgeon, she doesn't seem to think that we're going to get back to normal even this year. Now, that just depends on the social distancing rules and how on earth a pub or a music venue is going to implement. So if social distancing has to be the norm, how are they going to do it? How are they going to be able to implement? That's what worries me, is that we might end up playing to 6 people in a venue that we normally play to maybe 50 or 60. I just don't know. But all I do know is that I'm hoping that people that have worked with us over the years, like Nick Stanton, Max McNally, Wesley, who gave us our start last year at the White Lion. Just people like that, people who supported us, and
Yeah, great supporters of Justified, haven't they, these people? Really appreciate it.
do it for them. I want to get back and get playing for them. As much as for myself. I mean, obviously we've got all this money tied up in equipment, and I would hate to think that the only time it's ever going to get used is for messing around in the house, But I mean, especially with you, Martin, with them, how many kits have you got now?
Yeah, it's all right having 3 kits as long as you don't put them all up at the same time in the living room. Doesn't Sue complain?
Well, I never ever set my drums up at home, but it's something I'm considering.
Yeah.
Yeah. You might have to set your electronic kits up, Martin, and put a pair of headphones on or something. I don't know.
Could do that, yeah. Do that.
Anyway, I think we really have come to the time for the final track. All the tracks that you've heard from Justified were recorded live. And I think they were all recorded live at the Printworks in Wakefield. We've had great support from the Printworks. It's been a pleasure to play there. And we've got one final track, which is Travelling South.
Traveling south, trying to work my way back home. Traveling south, trying to work my way back home.